Today, we're diving deep into one of the most beloved classics in English literature, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. First published in 1813, this novel has enchanted readers for over 2 centuries with its sharp humor, memorable characters, and insightful look at love, class, and society in Regency-era England. Whether you're a first-time reader, revisiting for a book club, or prepping for that English Lit exam, this extended summary is designed to give you the full scoop, clocking in at over 15 minutes when read aloud at a natural pace. Spoiler alert. We'll cover the entire plot, so if you want to experience the twists fresh, hit pause and grab the book. Otherwise, let's jump in and explore why this story still feels so fresh and relevant today. To kick things off, a quick word about the brilliant mind behind it all, Jane Austen. Born in 1775 in Hampshire, England, Austen was the 7th of 8 children in a close-knit family. She never married, but her keen observations of the world around her, drawing from her own social circle of gentry and clergy, fueled her writing. Austen penned 6 major novels, but Pride and Prejudice is often hailed as her masterpiece. Originally titled First Impressions, it was rejected by publishers at first, but Austen revised it and self-published it anonymously as By a Lady. The book sold out its first edition quickly and has never been out of print since. Set in the early 19th century, it reflects the rigid class structures, marriage market, and gender roles of the time, all wrapped in Austen's signature irony and elegance. Fun fact, Austen wrote it when she was just 21, showcasing her precocious talent for satire. The story opens with one of literature's most famous lines. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. This sets the tone for the novel's central preoccupation, marriage as a social and economic necessity, especially for women with limited inheritance rights. We're introduced to the Bennet family, living in the quaint village of Longbourn in Hertfordshire. Mr. Bennet is a sarcastic, bookish gentleman who's more amused by his family's foibles than involved in fixing them. His wife, Mrs. Bennet, is a flighty, matchmaking machine obsessed with marrying off her 5 daughters because their estate is entailed away to a male heir, leaving the girls potentially destitute after Mr. Bennet's death. The daughters are a delightful mix. Jane, the eldest, is beautiful, kind, and serene. Elizabeth, Lizzie, our sharp-witted heroine, is intelligent, lively, and quick to judge. Mary is the plain, pedantic one who loves books and moralizing. Kitty is frivolous and easily influenced, and Lydia, the youngest at 15, is wild, flirtatious, and impulsive. The Bennets' lives turn upside down when 2 eligible bachelors arrive in the neighborhood, the charming Charles Bingley, who's rented Netherfield Park, and his aloof, wealthy friend, Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy. Bingley is instantly smitten with Jane at a local ball, sparking hopes of a match. But Darcy? He comes off as proud and disdainful, famously snubbing Elizabeth by declaring her not handsome enough to tempt me. Ouch! This sets up the novel's core conflict: Pride, Darcy's, and Prejudice, Elizabeth's, clashing in a dance of misunderstandings. As the plot unfolds, Austen weaves a tapestry of social events, balls, dinners, visits, that highlight the era's etiquette and hypocrisies. Bingley's sisters, Caroline and Louisa, are snobbish and undermine Jane's prospects, while Mr. Collins, the pompous clergyman heir to Longbourn, arrives to make amends by proposing to one of the Bennet girls. Collins is a comic goldmine, obsequious to his patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh, Darcy's haughty aunt, and utterly lacking self-awareness. He proposes to Elizabeth in a hilariously awkward scene, listing reasons like it's a business deal. Elizabeth rejects him flat out, much to Mrs. Bennet's horror, and Collins pivots to her friend Charlotte Lucas, who accepts pragmatically for financial security. This subplot underscores Austen's commentary on marriage. For women without means, it's often about survival, not romance. Enter Mr. George Wickham, a dashing militia officer stationed in nearby Meryton. He charms everyone, including Elizabeth, with tales of being wronged by Darcy, claiming Darcy denied him a promised inheritance out of jealousy. Elizabeth, already biased against Darcy, laps this up, fueling her prejudice. Meanwhile, Jane's budding romance with Bingley hits a snag when he abruptly leaves for London, leaving her heartbroken. Elizabeth suspects interference from Bingley's sisters and Darcy, who views the match as beneath his friend due to the Bennet's lower status and vulgar connections. The narrative shifts when Elizabeth visits Charlotte and Collins at Hunsford Parsonage, near Lady Catherine's grand estate, Rosings Park. Here we meet the formidable Lady Catherine, a domineering aristocrat who embodies class snobbery. Darcy and his cousin, Colonel Fitzwilliam, are visiting, leading to more encounters with Elizabeth. Tensions simmer as Darcy wrestles with his growing attraction to her, despite her inferior background. In one of the novel's pivotal moments, Darcy proposes to Elizabeth in a disastrously arrogant way, admitting he's fought his feelings because of her family's improprieties. Elizabeth, stunned and furious, rejects him vehemently, accusing him of ruining Jane's happiness and mistreating Wickham. Darcy's pride is shattered, but this confrontation is a turning point. It forces both to confront their flaws. The next day, Darcy hands Elizabeth a letter explaining his side. He did separate Bingley from Jane, believing her indifferent, but with good intentions. As for Wickham, he's a scoundrel who tried to elope with Darcy's 15-year-old sister Georgiana for her fortune. This revelation rocks Elizabeth's world, making her question her judgments. She returns home to find Lydia invited to Brighton with the militia, a decision that screams trouble given Lydia's recklessness. Summer brings Elizabeth on a tour of Derbyshire with her aunt and uncle, the Gardiners, respectable tradespeople who contrast the Bennets' chaos. They visit Pemberley, Darcy's magnificent estate, where Elizabeth is awed by its beauty and hears glowing reports of Darcy's character from his housekeeper. Darcy himself appears, surprisingly civil and attentive, even introducing her to Georgiana. Just as Elizabeth's opinion softens, disaster strikes. Lydia has eloped with Wickham from Brighton, scandalizing the family. Unmarried cohabitation could ruin all the sisters' prospects in this unforgiving society. In a frenzy, Mr. Bennet and Uncle Gardiner search for the pair in London. Darcy, learning of the crisis, secretly intervenes, tracking them down, paying off Wickham's debts, and bribing him to marry Lydia. Elizabeth discovers this later, realizing Darcy's actions stem from love for her, not obligation. Bingley returns to Netherfield, rekindles with Jane, and proposes. Yay, for true love! But the real climax is Darcy's second proposal to Elizabeth, humbled and reformed. She accepts, having overcome her prejudice as he's tempered his pride. The novel wraps with multiple happy endings. Jane and Bingley wed, Lydia's marriage saves face, though it's miserable, and even Lady Catherine's meddling can't stop Darcy and Elizabeth's union. Now, let's delve into the characters because Austen's genius shines in her nuanced portrayals. Elizabeth Bennet is the star, feisty, independent, and flawed in her quick wit that sometimes borders on cynicism. She's a proto-feminist icon, valuing mutual respect over wealth. Darcy starts as the brooding anti-hero, his pride rise in genuine integrity and kindness. His arc from arrogance to humility is masterful. Jane and Bingley are the sweet, straightforward foils, too good-natured to navigate society's pitfalls alone. Mrs. Bennet's nerves and matchmaking provide comic relief, but she's a product of her time's pressures. Mr. Collins' detachment highlights parental failures, while Collins and Lady Catherine satirize clerical sycophancy and aristocratic entitlement. Wickham is the charming villain, exposing how appearances deceive. Thematically, Pride and Prejudice is rich fodder. At its heart, it's a romance, but Austen uses it to critique the marriage institution as an economic transaction. Women like Charlotte settle for security, while Elizabeth demands love and equality, a radical notion then. Class divides everything. Darcy's initial disdain reflects societal barriers, but love bridges them. Irony permeates. Austen's narrator winks at hypocrisies, like the universally acknowledged truths that aren't so universal. Reputation and propriety rule, as Lydia's scandal shows how one person's folly affects all. Gender roles are scrutinized. Men inherit and propose, women wait and maneuver. Yet Austen's women are vibrant, outshining many male characters in intellect. Symbolism is subtler here than in more allegorical works, but elements like estates represent character. Pemberley's elegance mirrors Darcy's true self, while Rosing's ostentation screams Lady Catherine's vulgarity. Balls symbolize the marriage market, with dances as metaphors for courtship steps and missteps. Letters drive plot twists, emphasizing communications power in an era without phones. Why does this book endure? It's hilarious. Austen's dialogue sparkles with wit, like Elizabeth's banter with Darcy. At under 400